Assalamu alaikum, good evening. I can see Amatullah, how are you? If you can hear me, please type 1. Turn the time on. I was waiting for you. So anyway, let's talk about life in Saudi Arabia between the city and the country. Who would prefer to live in the city and who prefers here to live in the country? And why? Anud, you like to live in the country, why? Can you tell me why you prefer the country for living in a city? Amatullah likes to live in a city, but why also? You need to write to me why. Some people prefer to live in a country because 1, 2, 3. Some people prefer to live in a city because also 1, 2, 3. We have a deal that both living in a country or living in a city, both have advantages and disadvantages. Anud likes to live in a country because cities are very noisy. I agree with this. Cities are crowded, noisy, and people are not simple. They're a little bit complicated. There's a lot of cars, traffic lights, and even so, road work. Amatullah prefers to live in a city because it is often easier to get around and get your needs. So you have more shops, more malls, and more services. That's right. Lina does not prefer to live anywhere. Yes, Lina, are you there? So as you see from Anud and from Amatullah, yes, there are advantages and disadvantages. Anud likes the country because she hates noise and crowded streets, the cars. And Amatullah prefers the city because it's easier, there are a lot of roads, there are a lot of services, malls, and she gets everything she wanted from anywhere in the city. Now, this is also a picture of life in Saudi Arabia. The first picture you can see what? What do you see in this picture on the screen? You can see a building. So buildings mostly in Saudi Arabia are found in the cities, and also you can find in some other places skyscrapers also. Okay, let's welcome Manal. Thanks for coming. Our class is Manal. Oh, there she's gone anyway. This is a picture taken from a city because we have different buildings in the city, and also here this is taken from a rural or urban life or a town, okay? And it's a country life. But actually this is not exactly a country life. This is a Bedouin life, okay? Because if you look at the two photos, which shows an urban or town and which shows a rural life or a country life, this is almost a rural Bedouin life, and this is also taken from a building, a city, or this is a building taken from the city, okay? But if we talk about country life, that's country life exactly like villages, like those villages, like there's some villages like الجماجم, رفحة, عرعر, Ras. These are villages, and also there's a nice villages called Lina also. So also Amatullah like to classify countries contain farms and simple houses. Yes, that's right, Amatullah. Like Lina, الجماجم, عرعر, رفحة. There are a lot of we can't say these are cities, these are villages, and they contain a country life where you can see small houses and people of 5,000, 2,000. Yes, this is also in Saudi Arabia. So, but in Saudi Arabia, actually, there are 3 types. You can see people living in a city like Riyadh, Mecca, Medina, and Jeddah. And you can see people live in villages, in a country life, and people live in a rural life, and we call them the Bedouins, and we call them in Bedouins. Now let's talk about city life and country life. So the question here is complete the table with things that you associate with country life and city life. Remember, some modern things can be associated with both. So sometimes we have advantages here and we have disadvantages there. And sometimes we have both. We have both. So if I talk about city life, people actually commuting to work by car. They go to work by car. And they use mobile phones everywhere. And you can see shopping everywhere, shopping centers, a lot of malls, a lot of shopping centers. While in country life, people usually walk to work. They usually walk to work. They also use mobile phones, so this is work for both. So at the same time, this is here and this is here. People use mobile phones both in city life and country life. And in country life, raising your own goats and sheep, so people like to keep goats, sheep, cows, sometimes also, in Saudi Arabia, camels. So they use their, and sometimes hens, so they can take eggs and they can make some chicken. Can you add more here in the three spaces here for city life and country life? What is the thing here that is associated with city life? So what do you find here in city life that you cannot find in country life? So when you see city life, or when we talk about city life, what do you remember? Both use the internet. Excellent, Lena. That's right. Both use the internet. And here comes Ryan. How are you, Ryan? Our class started at 7:30. It's no more 7:45, so we just start at 7:30. So Lena said, yes, in city life and in country life, we both use the internet. So we can add internet here, and we can add internet here. What else you can find in city life? Good for Emma, country, you grow, okay, you can grow your own vegetables and fruits, while at cities we just buy it. That's right. That's right. That's okay, Ryan. That's okay. Now you know. So many students were late because of this new time. Also, in city life, you can see playgrounds. You know playgrounds? Like, yes, Lena. Also, in country life, you can see people have farms. So they grow vegetables or dates, and they raise some cows and goats and camels. In cities, you have playgrounds and some other facilities that you cannot find in country life. While in country life, people have farms, and they have actually small houses, while also in a city, you find skyscrapers and towers, like in Riyadh, the Kingdom Tower, the Faisaliyah Tower. You cannot see towers or skyscrapers in the country. You can see this in the country. Now, if we move on to add more for city life and country life, as we said here, we're commuting to work by car in the city, and in country life, we walk to work. And in city life and also in country life, we both use mobile phones. In city life, people love to go shopping because you can see malls everywhere, while in country life, people tend to grow or raise camels and sheep or goats. In city life, like your friend said, it is overcrowding, too many cars, too many traffic lights, and in the city life, there are mud-walled houses. You can see houses like in Dariyah. You can find some houses are built from mud. Also, in city life, people use a lot of machines, especially for the laundry, to wash and dry clothes. While, in the country life, they wash their clothes on their hands and hang them out and hang out the washing on the wires or on the roof. Also in city life you can see a lot of and big hospitals and pharmacies and also polyclinics, but in country life people like to cook outside. So you can see someone set a fire outside the house and started to cook in a big bowl. Also in city life people go to universities. So you can see a lot of universities here, like Imam Saud, King Abdulaziz, Al-Yamama, a lot of universities. Also country life, you find something strange that you find outside toilets. So people like to put their toilets outside so they have access from both from outside and from the inside the house. And in the city, we still don't have this. We're working on this in Riyadh. You can have metros, you can have trams, you can see trains. Well, in country life, you don't see trains or metros or something like this. But people in country life, since they are poor and they depend on themselves, they always save money. In city life, because there are too many people, you can find unemployment. And also in country life, you can find unemployment, people who don't have jobs. And in city life, you see a lot of hawkers or peddlers. Those hawkers and peddlers are actually foreigners. So you can see in the city, you can see people from America, from Philippines, from India, from Bangladesh, from other Arab countries. So we call them foreigners. And in country life, people go to well. So they find water and they take the buckets and try to fetch the water, to bring the water from some places. Okay? Now, who can read this for me? I want someone to read City Life. Yes, quickly. Did you sleep? Can someone read the City Life for me here? And then I want someone else to read the Country Life. You should have bought a mic, Amatullah. You promised me to buy a mic. So what about Unud or Lina or Ryan? Okay, let's give the microphone to Ryan so you can read the Country Life. And please try to read slowly.
City life. Okay. City life. Commutes to work by car or bus.
Okay. Think your voice is gone.
No, I'm here. Shopping in the shopping center. Overcrowding, using the machine to wash and dry clothes, going to the hospital, going to the university, high-speed trains, unemployment,
Hawkers and peddlers.
I can't see the last one.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much. That is very beautiful. Thank you, Ryan. So we can say that this is unemployment. Okay, unemployment. All right, you got that. Now I want someone to read the Country Life for me. What about Anud? You never read here. Can you do that, Anud? While you think and decide, let's give Lina a try to read the Country Life.
Walking to work, using mobile phone, raising your own goats or sheep, mud-walled house, hanging out the washing, cooking outside toilets, saving money, unemployment, fetching water.
Excellent. Thank you very much. That is really beautiful. Okay, give a hand to your friend. So this is how we have a different lifestyle between country life and city life. Also, you can see electricity high-rise flats like towers, as I said, no much advertising and television. But in country life, knowing the names of local plants, birds, and fish, they know names of fish and birds. In the city, they don't know. And in country life, they do a lot of homework. They do a lot of homework and a lot of advertising in country life. And in both cases, television is everywhere. You know, I don't agree with this one because in city life, you can see a lot of advertising everywhere. You can see signs for advertising everywhere. In country life, you don't see a lot of advertising. Okay, you can see that on the road. You can see this in the city more than you can see it anywhere else in the country or anywhere else. Now, if we move on, I'm going to play something for you. This is a conversation between two people talking about country life and city life. Okay? Now, I want you to listen very carefully. Okay? I want you to listen to this very carefully. All right? Are you ready to listen now? Okay, I'm checking if you know this or not. So let's go. I'm going to play this. You can put your headphones. Okay? You can put your headphones. So this is going to make you listen in a good way.
Unit 1, Lesson 4.
Okay, so we listen to a man and then to a woman. The man lives in a city and the girl lives with her grandparents in the country. So, would you like to listen to this again? Because, you know, we have a lot of exercises after that. I need more okays. Okay. Let's give it one time, all right? And this is the last time. Okay. Beautiful. Now let's go to the exercises. Now, question number 1. Note 1 disadvantages the first person gives for living in a city. What was the first man disadvantages? Something negative. Okay? Something negative in the city. Yes, that's right. It's expensive to buy any or to rent any flat in the city. It's luxurious and it is also expensive. Good, Lena. Thank you. Number 2, note 1 advantage the second person gives for living in the city. One positive thing, one advantage is the girl talked about living in the city. No, Wi-Fi is not good in the countryside, but Wi-Fi and mobile phones are good in the cities usually. Okay, you have to be careful. Note 1 advantages the second person gives for living in the city. The girl said that living in a city is good for the Wi-Fi and for internet signals. Okay. Number 3, how does each person feel about where they live? Arnold, yes, the first person or the man, he likes living in the city and he enjoys the luxurious and the people on the street and. But what about the girl? Does she like to live in the city, in the country, with too many people, with a noisy house, with crazy roads, with bad signals? Yes, Ryan, no, she did not like it. The second does not like the country because of the things I just told you. Good. Now let's remember something about grammar, which is the grammar builder here. The grammar builder here is help us. Actually, there is no big grammar here. The only grammar here is to say why, to give reasons. We know that when you want to give the reasons, you say because. So there are ways to say the reasons when, or some words like why or because or since or as. So often when you explain your point of view, you need to say why you think that way or give a reason. So you can use because, since, or as. For example, when you say, I like the city because, I don't like the city because. Since I like music, I do 1, 2, 3. As people live in the country, they do 1, 2, 3. So there are ways to express your giving reasons. Here is another example. I prefer the city because you can find work there. So here you are giving a reason. I like, I prefer. Why? Because you give a reason. Because you can find work there. Since the traffic is so appealing, I prefer to live in the country. So there is someone who does not like country, or he does not like cars and stuff like this. So he likes to live in the country because there are no traffic, no cars and stuff like that. So he's giving reason. So since the traffic is appalling, I prefer to live in the country. I prefer to live in the country. So he's saying why. Another example, as mobile phone and internet connections are much better in the city. Why? So I would prefer to live there. So why I would prefer to live there? As or since or because mobile phone and internet connections are better. Are better. Now we need to connect these, okay, up to the meaning, all right? So it's difficult to reach my house. I live in Riyadh. I prefer living in the country because I suffer from asthma. As land is cheap, it's difficult to stay in touch. And here you have to connect 1 to E, 2 to A, I don't know. Houses are much larger because the road is very bad, since the air is cleaner there, since the telephone signal is so bad. Air quality is very important for me, as it is the nearest place where I can study chemical engineering. Now who can make the first one? Lina says number 1 to be, so it goes, it's difficult to reach my house because the road is very bad. Let's see. That's right. Now 2, I live in Riyadh. Lina says, only Lina answers. What about Rayan and Anud? Lina thinks 2 goes for F. I live in Riyadh as it is the nearest place where I can study chemical. That's right. That's right, Lina. I prefer living in the country. Why? I prefer living in the country. I think it's a little bit, yes, Anud, C, yes? C. I prefer living, since the air is cleaner there. People love to live in the country because the air is cleaner. Because I suffer from asthma. That's right. Air quality is so important for me, which is E. As land is cheap, A, houses are much larger. And of course, the last one, it's difficult to stay in touch since the telephone signals is so bad. Okay, now this is almost the most important thing, and actually we feel this at the beginning. People like the advantages and the disadvantages, and we have given some reasons. for living in a city. Advantages: you have a lot of malls, you have services, you have internet, you have playgrounds, universities. And the disadvantages: housing is expensive, there isn't much land, and so on. Actually, we ran out of time. I'm going to leave you with the last 30 seconds before I extend the time. Okay? You need to vote for the lesson, and remember, this is a collection of Traveler 3, Flying Guy, Mega Goal, and always you can refer to come back and watch this lesson offline, and you can download it. You have toll-free number, Twitter account, and full support, whether you like to ask question or a technical support. Thanks for being here, and goodbye.